Hello out there in internet land. Welcome to episode 2 of Stop the Damn Match, the crappiest wrestling podcast review show on YouTube. I'm your host, Phil Lamington, and I'm joined by my usual F1 Chat podcast co-host, JB. How are you, JB?
Good evening, good sir. I'm alright. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. It's been a long weekend, though.
It's been a very long weekend.
Anything I feel.
Yes.
And joining us is our third amigo for the wrestling podcast, Dr. Sheamus. Dr. Sheamus, how are you, my friend?
Not too bad, especially after a pay-per-view like that.
Yeah, that was a really good and really interesting pay-per-view. They seem to have been stepping them up a little bit in the build-up towards bringing the crowds back for WWE.
Absolutely. It's a night and day difference between not having the crowd and having the crowd. I mean, that's half the show.
Yeah, that really helped the performers. You can tell they're actually back to feeling it with the crowd.
Was Vince alluding to that? Wasn't he holding off a lot of his surprises for when crowds came back?
Yeah.
I can nearly guarantee it, yeah.
Yeah, and good start. Good start, Vince. That was quite entertaining and quite surprising. I really liked it.
So this episode, we're doing a bit of a review on the latest Money in the Bank pay-per-view of 2021, which came from Fort Worth in Texas on the 18th of July, or because we're Australian, it was Monday the 19th of July, and it was the first pay-per-view since WrestleMania where we had an actual crowd.
Yeah, but this was a full capacity crowd.
Yes.
About
WrestleMania was
15,000
only
strong.
Yeah, WrestleMania was only half capacity. I think 25,000. So this was full capacity, no masks except for the mask that wrestlers were wearing, but crowd-wise, no masks, and they looked like they had a pretty damn good time.
Yeah, they looked like they were enjoying themselves, and the wrestlers were too.
Yep.
So we're going to go straight into the first match of the night, which was the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which had Alexa Bliss. I can't read my own writing.
Well done.
Naomi.
Naomi, Asuka, Zelina Vega, Natalia, Tamina,
There's nobody meaner.
Nikki ASH, and Liv Morgan.
I love how they've resurrected the superhero.
Molly Holly, eat your
The
heart
Molly
out.
Holly style gimmick, yeah. But it seems like something that's suiting Nikki Cross, and it's giving her something to do and putting her back on TV, which is a good sign. Like, I mean, she is a solid wrestler.
I mean, speaking of masks, I mean, what a 180 in terms of character. She's gone from like a psycho to like a superhero. Like, so I guess she's just trying to appeal to like maybe a younger generation of fans. I'm not sure.
I think without the group she was in NXT of Sanity, with Eric Young and that, without them, the character sort of fell apart and couldn't really be as psycho. And then, like, she was in that tag team with Alexa Bliss, last year?
Yeah.
Which went kind of well.
It worked kind of well, but it took away all the craziness of her character and made her just kind of generic, actually.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, especially because Alexa's now gone off on her own tangent of being a proper psycho. I mean, it sort of maybe wasn't going to work with two psychos.
That's true.
And but she seems happy. She seems at least happy doing what she's doing.
She's on TV, so she's got to be happy about that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there was some interesting moments in the match. Like at the start, sort of Alexa Bliss came out first and just stood in the corner, unflinching while everyone else was making their entrances.
She just stood in the naughty corner.
Which, it kind of looked creepy. Like, I know that's what she was going for, and it looked kind of creepy, but kind of creepy in a WWE way.
Go out there and look pretty, and she did just that for about 5 minutes. Actually, it was more like 15 minutes.
It was the entire match.
Before getting buried.
Before getting buried.
Literally.
But like, while everyone else was outside of the ring fighting over ladders and stuff, she was inside the ring trying to use the force to pull the briefcase down to her in just a mad moment of what the fuck. But
Imagine if that's how the match ended, though.
It's 10 seconds long.
Yeah, 10 seconds long. Alexa Bliss just like yanks this briefcase down with her mind, and people just like start walking out.
We lost. Oh, well.
I mean, it's no more, super powery, bizarro world than anything WWE had done before. Especially like Undertaker and Kane with lightning bolts and fireballs out of their eyeballs and what have you.
God, you're making them sound like they're the description of William Wallace in Braveheart.
Well, they were.
Shoots bolts of lightning from his fingers, balls of fire from his eyes, and bolts of lightning from his arse.
Yeah, well, that's probably what Vince was going for in the late 90s too, but thankfully that's not the way the match ended, and we had a fairly solid match, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, there was also the 6-person spot where there was 3 ladders, 6 people on the ladder towards the end, and then Nikki climbed up the ladder past everyone and just grabbed the briefcase. It's sort of, I don't want to say it was anticlimactic.
It was,
shock.
though.
A shock win.
Yeah, it was a very,
It felt rushed.
yeah.
Did it feel rushed?
Oh, I don't know if it...
I like how she like sort of snuck it and stole it, and it wasn't a conventional ladder match ending like we usually see.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
just like one person.
It's just like the one guy in the ring that's still there climbing the ladder. You know he's going to win. This was everyone was up there at once. Anyone could have grabbed that case, but I mean I liked it, but it felt rushed too at the same time. I believe.
The only sort of Debbie Downer on the match for me was a couple of the things that Tamina was involved in,
There's nobody meaner.
like the Zelina Vega doing a Hurricane Rana on Tamina, and it just looked really slow and pedestrian. And if it's going to be that slow and pedestrian, then Tamina should have countered it. It just looked like it was just 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, now I've hit the move.
Yeah.
And Tamina did it a couple of times where she just slowed a move that should be done fast to put over the fact that she can't counter it. And it just came across as so slow. So, but other than that, I really enjoyed the match. And I gave it out of 5 because we got our ranking system, our 5-star system that we pinched from Wrestling with Regret. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I gave it a 3. It wasn't the best Money in the Bank, especially women's, that I've seen so far, but it was okay.
Yeah?
It had its spots. And Nikki winning was really, really good. It was, as we said before, a bit of a shock win, which is always good every now and then.
How about you, JB?
Mate, I was going to give it 2.5, but I might bump it up to a 3. I mean, it wasn't the worst match I've seen. Like I said, I felt like the ending was rushed a little bit, but again, I guess the positives was it wasn't a conventional ending, and it was a surprise winner.
Yeah.
So, it's not the best ladder match you'll ever see, but it's certainly not the worst either. Yeah.
Cool. So then we got a highlight package of a match on the pre-show, which I don't understand why this match was on the pre-show, but it was the Mysterios defending the SmackDown tag titles against the Usos.
Mm-hmm.
And the Usos won the SmackDown tag titles. And then it's a backstage segment with the Usos and Roman Reigns, and the Usos acknowledging Roman Reigns. The next match on the card, though, was for the Raw Tag Team titles between the Viking Raiders and the Raw Tag Team Champions AJ Styles and Omos.
Best technical wrestler.
Technical wizardry of Omos.
It puts Bret Hart to shame.
Shout out to WWE Botch Posting for voting him, rightly so, the greatest technical wrestler of all time.
Well, in my notes about this match, I noted that there was one really awesome spot where Omos throws AJ Styles over the top rope onto the floor, and he's caught by Eric, who then AJ Styles turns it into a flying Hez Scissors? Or
Hurricane Rana.
Hurricane Rana. That was just wow.
That was just wow. I really liked that combination of a big tall dude throwing a short high flyer onto a bunch of people.
And he was throwing AJ Styles. I mean, how often does AJ Styles botch a spot?
Yeah, exactly. And well, he didn't botch this one either. He made it look brilliant.
Yeah, he's incredible. He is phenomenal. He lives up to the moniker.
That's it.
And he really did carry the weight of this match. Like, they really are still protecting Omos because, like you said while we were watching it, JB, he is still green as grass.
Oh, there was a lot of missed moves or half mismoved or
just a bit slower too.
Sluggish, more sluggish than he should have been sort of thing. You could tell he's still green, and yeah, definitely AJ is there purely to take the heat off him in the moment for those big spots, just to sort of, shelter the kid.
Yeah.
He was found out, admittedly, a couple of times in this match, but overall, it was still entertaining enough, I think.
I mean,
and, yeah.
Who better to have than AJ Styles as your tag team partner? I mean,
exactly. You don't get much better in terms of experience or technicality.
Well, yeah, like I noted on my notes here that, and my exact words are, AJ is bumping his ass off. And he was. Like, he was bumping his ass off the whole match. And then Omos would come out, do a couple of spots, and then AJ would come back in and bump his ass off a bit more.
Yeah, Omos would go out there, amble around for a little bit, play the power game, give AJ a rest, and then AJ would come back in and do some more spinny shit.
The only thing missing from Omos is he really needs to cut a promo about Ric Flair where he sits there and goes, Ric Flair, I'll kill you.
Well, Ric Flair's retired and Omos doesn't
matter,
have
you
an
can
accent.
still say it. But the end of the match, Omos pins Eric from the Viking Raiders to retain the Raw Tag Team titles.
After the tree choke slam.
Yeah. I initially gave this match a 3 out of 5, but I think I'm going to drop it down to a 2.5 out of 5. What do you guys think?
I'd probably go with a 3. It was AJ Styles, as you said, pretty much carried that match, and he's good at what he does. And that spot with Omos gave it that 3.
Yeah?
I'll keep it at 2.5. I'll agree with you. Only because, like I said, Omos was found out a few times. Detracted a little bit from the match, but I mean, AJ did everything in his power to carry the match in terms of spectacular moveset.
Yeah.
But yeah, Omos is still green. Give him another 6 months. See how he goes.
No springboard 450. I'm disappointed.
No shooting star presses. No springboard 450s.
I mean,
he'll work up to it. I'm sure Omos will work
either
up to it.
He'll either get better, or after WrestleMania next year, he'll get released.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one way or the other from him, and we'll see.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of beef, pal.
It's true.
Plenty of other beef out there too, mate.
So then we get to the next match, which was for the WWE Championship between champion Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
This was just Bobby Lashley squashing Kofi Kingston.
This was Kofi Kingston's respectability and
credibility,
everything just being squashed in this match. Like,
he didn't deserve it.
The Kofi of 3 years ago that got pushed to the title.
2 years ago.
Whatever it was, this was everything from that taken back. Vince is like, nah, I'll take this back.
This was actually felt like the end of Kofi's championship reign when Brock Lesnar beat him in like 10 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, this is like the end of it. This is like, you will not be in the title picture again after this.
But I think it is building towards a bigger picture.
Yeah, I think it's building towards a bigger picture too now that I've seen the entire card. I sort of understand it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a quote from Kofi calling Bobby Lashley soft. Bobby Lashley taking exception to it and kicking his ass for 10 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
typical squash match, and it felt disrespectful to Kofi, but now that we've seen all the results, you understand why it's going to be, why it feels that way and why it is that way now.
Yeah. It was nice to see Bobby Lashley crack out the Dominator. I
Yeah.
always really liked that finisher, but I always preferred it when Ron Simmons, Farouk,
Damn.
did it.
Yeah.
Because he really would like stick the landing on that one. But Bobby Lashley locked in the what does he call his full Nelson?
Hurt lock.
The Hurt Lock. Yeah, I forgot what it was actually called.
Like the Master Lock, but not.
Yeah, without Chris Masters. Bobby Lashley locked in the Hurt Lock, and Kofi didn't tap out. He passed out. So Bobby Lashley retains via submission. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I gave it 1 out of 5.
That was, by the way, after 3 Dominators.
Yes, 3 Dominators, then the Hurt Lock.
He's pretty
Then
much
I-
out of it.
Then I gave it 1 out of 5.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. It was a squash match. It only because it was for the title was it on that card. 100%.
And because of the bigger picture
Yeah,
associated with it.
it was a story match. 100%.
Yeah. Agree with you, boys. 1 out of 5. It's building to something better.
Worst match in the card by a mile.
Yeah.
So then the next match is the Raw Women's title between champion Rhea Ripley from Adelaide, Australia, Aussie, versus Charlotte Flair. There was a lot of spots in this match.
There was.
So
Yes.
like I've got half a page at least of notes, and to be honest, I can't be asked going through them. Like the notable ones were like Charlotte Flair flipping off the crowd and then blacking the screen out to cover it up right at the start.
So
That
the
was-
ship failed.
yeah. It's like when someone swears and they catch like the first half of it.
And then they bleep it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Matthew from Botchmania just puts Benoit over it.
I remember that. WWE is not so good at catching that shit, hey?
One is live now.
Like, no, but I remember even in a promo, it was Elimination Chamber actually, Triple H and Goldberg, and Triple H flips off Goldberg, but like Triple H flips him off, and then his hand stays there for like a second, and then they center it. And it's like, come on, at least try.
I don't even know why they bother censoring like people flipping them off. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Stone Cold does it
yeah, he does it
as
all the
his
time.
entrance.
And AEW
No,
do
he
it all the
doesn't
time.
anymore though. He closes his fists now. He doesn't do the bird.
Yeah, well, that
I mean, hell,
shows what we are now.
AEW people are flipping people off all the time.
Yeah, but that's AEW.
This is true.
That's it.
Yeah,
I like
that's-
this
That's
match.
Tony Khan, not Nick Khan.
I liked this match, boys. I thought it was very intense and very
Well,
physical.
I think at first the crowd tried to shit on the match though by calling out for Becky Lynch. You know, we want Becky, we want Becky.
They're a day early on that.
I think they do it. I think Rhea Ripley was an unlucky victim in this because I think everyone is kind of sick of Charlotte again. And I think by trying to bury Charlotte, they've also kind of tried to bury Rhea Ripley by association, which is unfair because these two actually have really good in-ring chemistry. And Rhea Ripley, even like when she was in the first and second Mae Young Classics, Rhea Ripley had something. Like a lot of the talent that was in the first Mae Young Classic, like a Rhea Ripley, Mercedes Martinez, Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, Tony Storm, they all had a lot of something.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to see Rhea Ripley getting pushed.
It's cool to see an Australian champion, but it also sucks that was a placeholder champion.
Yeah.
Because they're just waiting. They're just waiting for Becky to come back. And I assume that's why Charlotte has the title now.
Yeah, well, in my notes, I did also notice that they these two weren't really pulling their punches. Like,
No,
they
it was
were
very
really
physical.
doing a bit of slap and tickle, you know. They were really hitting each other, and, you know, a couple of elbows got Rhea Ripley in the side of the head, and she gave a couple of receipts, and
Charlotte's chest looked like bloody meat by the end of it, just red meat.
yeah, like, and she actually had blood coming out, so, you know, the skin was broken, so she really was,
Slapping the crap out of her.
yeah.
Yeah, she was getting
then-
50 shades of shit slapped out of her.
And then there was that really snug German suplex that Rhea Ripley
Oh.
hit on her. Man, that was snug as fuck.
Yeah, I liked it. I just liked the physical intensity that matched the emotional intensity. Because about halfway through this match, the crowd stopped shitting on it and realized that they're watching a pretty fucking good match.
Yeah.
Well, it was once they started really landing the snug shots, that German suplex, and then there was Rhea Ripley doing. It started off as a power bomb, and she hooked her arms around and she tried to lift her up, and you could tell she couldn't get Charlotte up. Probably Charlotte just wasn't cooperating. But she went from a power bomb sort of position into a guillotine and then into a suplex.
Yeah, and Charlotte was in the air the whole time.
Yeah.
And that was just an incredible display of power.
Yeah, just pure
Like,
strength.
it was I thought it was a botch. And then she just, like, squatted down and hooked the leg, or hooked the shoulder, and waited for Charlotte to pop her legs up. And then turned it into a suplex, and it was fucking impressive. It really was.
And then towards the end, Rhea Ripley smashed her head against the ring post.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
she fucking walloped it. And then she got her leg caught in the stairs, and Charlotte started bashing the stairs.
Should have been a DQ. If they're going to DQ her for throwing the top of the table, at least keep playing with that.
Yeah, they got to keep the rules consistent. They're about as consistent as the FIA at the moment.
She didn't... I always felt like weapon rules... If you throw it, it's just... If you use the weapon itself without touching the weapon itself, it's still legal.
But
You can still throw them. You can still throw... How's it any different to throwing her into the stairs?
But so many people throw each other into, like, through the announce table and they don't get DQ'd for it.
Because they're not using a weapon. It's there.
The top of the table is not a weapon. It's like a thin piece of wood. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah, but if you throw the thin piece, if you throw the top of the table, that's a projectile. That's a weapon. That's like it's no different to throwing someone into a set of stairs. I'm pretty sure that's the rules they've always played.
The stairs magically appeared in the ring and they landed on them.
No, the stairs
No.
outside the ring. Like, you can throw them. They don't count as a weapon if you don't pick them up.
Oh, they tripped over the stairs there. It's fine.
Exactly. I've never seen someone be disqualified in a full rules match for throwing someone into the stairs or the barricade or the announce table.
I will point this out. In the mid-90s, before Eric Bischoff took over WCW, when Cowboy Bill Watts was running WCW, he actually had a rule where you couldn't get thrown over the top rope and you couldn't do a move off the top rope or else you would get disqualified.
That's
that
a
would've been
dumb fucking
boring.
rule. That's
Yeah.
why WCW went to shit and they brought in brilliant talent like Goldberg.
Well, that's why Eric Bischoff got to take over the company.
That's it.
Brought in a gladiator of a man.
Bill Goldberg.
I'm glad we get Goldberg references in every podcast, even though he hasn't been on a match since WrestleMania.
He was in a match?
It
did
was,
stuff?
It was more like a vignette.
Mini highlight reel.
Was Matt Riddle involved?
Or it'd be a highlight reel and a half if he was.
Yeah, of Goldberg getting his ass handed to him by Matt Riddle in a shoot. But Charlotte Flair, after she booted the crap out of the stairs with Rhea Ripley's leg stuck in there, she locked in the figure eight
Yes.
and won by submission. which means she is the new Raw Women's Champion. I believe that makes her a 14-time World Women's Champion.
She's catching up to her daddy.
Yeah, is this gimmick Charlotte gonna equal her dad's record of 16 title reigns?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but won't break it. Or
Yeah.
will she break it? She becomes 17-time women's champion just to put it in her dad's face in her retirement match.
But
How many more years do you think she has left in her?
Oh,
Heaps.
plenty.
Fucking heaps, eh?
She's only young.
Yeah, fuck. She could do like 20.
But I think it's setting up Becky Lynch returning on Raw
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Tell you what, SummerSlam's going to be a packed card if it's going the
Yeah.
way it looks like it's going. Holy shit.
Absolutely.
I just feel sorry for Rhea Ripley because like she won the belt at WrestleMania, and then her entire program has been either with Asuka or Charlotte. And I just feel like she could,
Yeah, she's only been champion for what, 4 months?
if
Less than
that.
Yeah.
That sucks. She's a transitional champion.
And
I mean, good on her for getting the belt, but just bad timing.
she won the championship in the Thunderdome era, which sucks.
Yeah, she. Oh,
no, she won it at
no,
Mania.
in
She
front
won
of
it
a
at
crowd.
Mania from Asuka.
So she only got one
got-
one set of crowds. And
Yeah, exactly.
that was
But
it.
you can say the same about Drew.
Yeah, true. That felt bad for Drew
Drew's
as well.
entire championship reign was in front of nobody.
Yeah, which is a
That
damn shame.
sucks.
And
That
yet
sucks.
he still did a really good job of carrying the company.
Yeah,
though.
Absolutely.
from winning the title to losing the title was in front of 0 fucking people.
Because
That
I can tell
sucks.
you at the same time that Drew won the WWE title, Braun Strowman won the Universal title and did nothing with it.
And then got released.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he had that weird swamp match with Bray. That was about it. That's the only highlight I remember.
Yeah. And
That
he became
in-
a train.
That entire
Became a
feud with Bray Wyatt was just
Nothing.
bizarre.
The
It
match,
was
For the
bizarre.
wrong reasons.
the
it
match
was
itself was okay, just because it had a lot of throwbacks, but that was about it.
Yeah.
But with the Raw Women's title match, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I'd agree with you with a 4. That was a really good women's match. Kept us entertained and went a bit slow at the start, and then it just, peaked up and really, really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that is probably equal second best match of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 out of 5, man. Very intense, very physical.
The natural selection off the top rope was pretty good too.
Yes, we forgot that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, very good match. Very good.
So then the next match is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match between Drew McIntyre, Big E, Riddle, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, or shout out to her mate Shogo, Cheesecake Nakamura, and John Morrison.
Drip, drip, baby.
Drip, drip Morrison.
Now, with all these guys like Ricochet, Kevin Owens, John Morrison, even Seth Rollins, you're expecting a lot of flippy dippy shit. And you got it.
And you fucking
damn
got
well
it in
did.
You got it.
truckloads.
And then some.
Yeah.
It really was just, it was, as JR used to say, a car wreck on I-95.
Was a slobber knocker.
Yeah, it was a slobber knocker.
It was far and away the match of the night. It was everything you could have in a ladder match, I think. It was brilliant.
Like, you started off with Riddle doing that really snug face kick to Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Ricochet from out of nowhere takes out John Morrison. Then Riddle takes out Seth Rollins with more flippy dippy shit.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like the cameraman couldn't keep up at the start.
That's it. It was chaos. It was brilliant.
And then later on, they were setting up a ladder or something. I can't remember specifically the spot. And Riddle hit what I think it was Jimmy Smith or Pat McAfee. One of them hit this lovely little name of the move, the Greco-Roman eye poke. I had to write that down in my notes because that was just...
It was someone was on the other side of the ladder, and he poked his eyes through the ladder.
Yeah, the old Greco-Roman eye poke. KO did an awesome moonsault off the second rope onto a ladder that was being held by Seth Rollins and John Morrison.
Good
That-
springboard.
Because, I don't know, you don't really see Kevin Owens doing a moonsault very often.
No, you seem to do frog splashes every now and then, but yeah, and like cannonballs, but you don't seem to do moonsaults often
Who was
at
his
all.
debut match against? Was it against John Cena?
Yeah,
On the
'Cause-
main
On the
roster.
main roster.
Because he did a fucking springboard in that match, and it was brilliant, and he never did it again.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think that Vince was like, don't do that shit. Big man aren't supposed to do flippy dippy shit.
I think...
Because I remember when he first came up from NXT, he was just doing flippy dippy shit all the time.
Yeah, but I think with Kevin Owens, he's smart enough to save those spots for the big matches.
Yep.
Very much like Undertaker. He would save like the big
Lariats.
dive over the top rope. He would
Yeah.
always save it for WrestleMania or for a big moment.
Yeah.
And nearly break his neck on one of them.
Yeah, that was against Shawn Michaels.
Nearly
Yes.
all this because Sean doesn't know how to catch.
No, it wasn't
Apparently.
Shawn that missed the catch. It was the cameraman who was
Cameraman.
actually one half of Deuce and Domino.
Oh, shit.
He missed. He was out of position, and he fucked up.
That's why Shawn moved him.
So, but Taker was like, "Well, shit happens, and off you go," And KO got suplexed onto the side of the ladder, spine first.
Yeah,
that was a brutal
narky.
spot. Absolutely brutal spot. Like when it happened, I think we all just went, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, that's
How about to
some,
sugarcoat that?
that's some free chiropractic surgery right there, mate. That's just like, ooh, realign your spine in the worst sort of way.
And then you had Matt Riddle was doing RKO's from out of nowhere.
He could hit them clean, hey?
Absolutely.
It's impressive.
He even did a super RKO. I think it was on Kevin Owens. He did a super RKO off the ladder.
Off the ladder, yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
had Riddle and Shinsuke doing a kickbox match.
Oh, it was brilliant, that sequence of events.
That Matt Riddle really was. He was the MVP of the match,
Ooh.
Yeah, he was
And-
up there.
and the guy who at first he didn't do a hell of a lot other than a spot at the start, then really came into his own towards the end of the match was Ricochet.
Absolutely. The master of the ladder matches at the moment, that's for sure.
And then Drew McIntyre looked like he was going to secure the Money in the Bank. And then Jinder and his two goons turned up and beat the crap out of him and dragged him away.
He upgraded the Singh brothers to some other two beefy guys from NXT.
Yeah, because the Singh brothers got released, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah. And then KO was going to try and climb up the ladder. And Seth Rollins came along, grabbed him, and powerbombed him over the top rope onto a ladder that was set up between the ring and the commentary desk and snapped the ladder in half.
And snapped Kevin Owens in half, consequently.
And then Big E and Seth, yeah, climbing up the ladder.
Yeah, it was.
And Big E hit the big ending off the ladder
Yeah, that was massive.
and then climbed up and grabbed the briefcase and became Mr. Money in the Bank.
He did very well.
Good on Big E, he deserves that.
Yeah,
And more.
he really does deserve a singles push.
Which explains why Kofi Kingston got fucking dropped by Lashley.
Yeah.
Because now it's a New Day revenge match with Big E instead of Kofi.
I think they'll have one more match where it'll be Bobby Lashley belting the living bejesus out of Xavier.
Woods. Yeah. Yep.
And then,
Yeah. Sets it up nicely.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a few more spots from that ladder match that I'd like to bring up.
The
Yeah,
Ricochet
yeah, of
spot
course.
was awesome.
Both including Ricochet. The spots from him in this match were incredible. The first one being Ricochet diving from half the way through the bloody ring over the top rope onto all the guys on the outside. The camera angle, that was brilliant. You could hardly even see it.
Yeah.
And the second one
Thanks
was
for that, Kevin Dunn.
And the second one was definitely where Riddle pushed him off the ladder. He springboards from the top rope and then does a... What was it? Just a...
Moonsault, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And they did a moonsault from that onto all the guys on the
Yeah.
outside.
Off the top of the ladder, onto the top of the rope, springs off the top rope, does this, gets massive elevation, floats through the air, front flips, and lands on the dudes on the outside. It was brilliant.
And another spot with that too. He walked around the ropes.
Yes, he
Then
ran
jumped
the
on the
ropes
ladder.
around. Oh, yeah, nah, that kid can do some shit, eh? I've been a fan of him since NXT. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me though, is that he's only used for these spot junkie type things. Like they really need to push Ricochet.
He's like the Kofi Kingston of the Royal Rumble fucking.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
does crazy spots. Crazy spots. And you know he's going to do it. And you know it's going to be fucking awesome, though.
Ricochet for me, every time I think about Ricochet, I always think about the feud he had with, I think it was Velveteen Dream in NXT. Velveteen Dream was on the ramp cutting a promo, and Ricochet just ran up, flipped over the top rope, landed on the ground on his feet, and walked straight up to him without skipping a beat. Like he didn't land and balance; he just landed and then kept walking
Yep.
and got in his face. If I think he's even more agile than John Morrison and Kofi Kingston
I
combined.
think he is the most agile person on the roster.
Absolutely. The only person that could maybe equal him would be AJ. I mean,
Yeah,
AJ is one of the best all-rounders. Like, he can do anything.
Yeah,
And-
but Ricochet's got age on his side, too.
This
Like,
is true.
he's
AJ's old.
Yeah, dude, that dude can move. If you're going to have a fucking parkour race, I'm putting all my money on Ricochet.
see, that's the thing I'd like to see for Elimination Chamber next year, like AJ Styles, Ricochet, Kofi
Morrison.
Kingston, John Morrison, like lots of flippy dippy stuff to see what people can do
I want to
inside
see.
that.
Could you imagine those guys doing like a Division X style match?
Oh, yes.
Where you
Yeah.
just hang the belt in the middle on those wires?
Yeah,
And you just have Morrison versus Ricochet versus AJ versus Rey Mysterio versus whoever the fuck else you want to put in there. And
Yeah.
just see how much crazy flippy shit they can do.
Armageddon Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, but for like cruiserweights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fucking, yeah. Vince.
Open top of the cage, though. Instead of having the Hell in a Cell with the top of the cage on it,
Yeah.
have it open and just have them do a whole bunch of flippy shit there.
now do the dog kennel from hell match again.
So all our 3 listeners out there,
Done
when
as
you
they
hear
you.
this, you got to get on to Vince and pitch this idea because I think it's gold.
But make sure he gives us claim to the idea.
Oh, and Finn Balor. Finn Balor's going to be in
Finn
that
Balor,
match
yeah,
too.
because he returned on SmackDown this week.
He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of little dudes doing crazy shit. That's what we want to see.
Please,
Yeah.
God, don't ruin him this time. Please.
But the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, for me, it was match of the night, and I was going to give it 6 out of 5 stars,
Yeah.
but I have to give it 5 out of 5 stars.
Why is that?
Well, because you can't give them 6 out of 5 stars.
Like hell you can. I'm giving it 6.
Yeah, you want to give it 6?
Yeah, I'll give it 6.
Yeah, 6. What about you, John?
4.5.
Oh,
Oh,
I forever compare ladder matches to WrestleMania 16 and 17. And
Ah.
they'll never be that good, so
you can't compare it to like the greatest ladder matches
I can
of all time.
I can and I will.
Man.
4.5. 4.6.
This guy.
4.6.
4.5.
There's always one.
4.5.
And then finally, we get to the final match on the card, which was for the Blue Universal Championship between Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the Blue Universal Champion, versus Edge. Now, when Edge came out, when it hit his music and you hear the You Think You Know Me, that crowd popped so hard. I haven't heard a crowd pop like that since
Since he fucking came out in the Rumble.
in
I still think that's the biggest
Yeah.
pop I've heard in a long time, is
Yeah.
when he fucking came out in the Rumble in 2019.
yeah.
That was massive. And then the other pop at the end of this pay-per-view. That was pretty
Which-
big too.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
in a
I
sec.
know we'll get to that. That will be like the second biggest pop of... Well, that
The
will-
Rumble is the king of pops, man.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
That pop was the pop tonight for Edge, and the pop at the Royal Rumble felt almost like a Stone Cold Steve Austin pop from the Attitude Era.
Hmm.
Yeah, when the
Oh,
glass
the-
the glass breaks and everyone's just like, "Oh my God, it's Austin!"
Oh, the pop at the Rumble is as close to like WrestleMania 17 Austin entrance as I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, I wasn't a fan of the deliberate slow pace at the start. I think having a deliberate slow pace is fine, but when it drags on,
They could have hacked 10 minutes off this match.
Yeah.
They really could have.
Absolutely.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know why the match. Yeah. Like, what's the problem? Were they worried about Edge's gas tank? I mean, I know he's getting up there in age,
He was still going
but
pretty
he
hard.
was still going pretty hard at the end. Like, what were they worried about? Like, what was the. Why did this match have to be almost an hour?
yeah, well, I know they were trying to tell a story, but
This match
Yeah.
had no right to be almost a fucking hour.
yeah, it didn't pick up until the next point on my notes, which was when. Yeah, I kind of ducked out of the room for a second, but I could still hear it. So Roman Reigns tried to spear Edge and missed and hit the barricade.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah, and the
exploded
barricade
through
exploded.
the barricade.
And then Edge speared him through another barricade.
It was the same barrier. It was the piece
Yeah,
of the
the-
edge
the
of the
back
same
bit of it.
barricade that he had already fucking destroyed.
But for me, that's when the match actually picked up.
Yeah.
It started becoming...
That was a good 20 minutes into that match.
Yeah.
Like, that was a long time into that match before anything really happened.
And then Roman Reigns Superman punched Edge, who then fell into Little H. Charles Robinson took the referee out. I just want to deviate for 1 second. Wrestling with Regret did a retro pay-per-view review on WWF Invasion from 2001. And one of the matches was Earl Hebner versus Nick Patrick, the referee matches. And Mick Foley was the guest referee. And I was reading the comments, and one person said that there was too much action in that referee matches because everyone knows that a referee, once they get hit, has to sell it for like 10 minutes that they've been killed by a wrestler.
That's it.
Glass referees, man.
Yeah.
Look,
So,
I like the fact that Charles Robinson got hit in the knee and then was seen on the outside clutching his head. Like, was clearly hit in the knee to the point that Matt Vicky said he copped an edge to the knee, and was
I actually wrote that down in my notes too.
and was later seen on the outside, not 5 minutes later, clutching his head.
Maybe he just rolled out of the ring and then hit his head on the way.
He's part of the Italian team that won Euro, the Euro Cup.
Ooh, that's a sore point still.
At least he's not as cheap as Lewis Hamilton. Whoops, sorry, wrong chat.
Save it for tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, the referee took a bump, and Pat McAfee goes, he took an edge to the knee, which got a chuckle from us. The commentary was on fire tonight too, I will say
Pat
that.
McAfee is great.
Yeah,
I've learned to love him a lot, actually.
So is Jimmy Smith.
Yep.
He's doing really well as well.
Yeah.
Both the new commentators are brilliant.
But Pat McAfee, like, he really has embraced it and is just... He's giving it a different dynamic.
I thought he was a gimmick when he first came in, and I think he was. But now that he's here, he's just integrated so well.
And he can actually wrestle. Like, he had a match against...
He was in War
Adam Cole.
Games.
Yeah, he was in War Games and did a spot on the top of the cage
Yeah.
and was good.
Yeah, I mean, that's even better. But I mean, as a commentator, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
He hasn't
exactly.
missed a beat. He hasn't missed a beat since he got here.
Good all-rounder.
And he's been brilliant, yeah.
So then Edge breaks the part of the chair, the lower part of the chair.
No, Roman
Roman
breaks.
did.
Roman breaks the lower part of the chair because he was going to get his revenge on Edge for
That's
it.
right, yeah. He broke the part, but he didn't get to lock it into Edge, and Edge managed to get a hold of it and put him in the crossface. And while he's doing that, you can hear the crowd start booing. Once you hear the crowd booing, you know the Usos are coming down to interfere. Then the crowd starts cheering because the Mysterios are right behind them.
This match should have been on the main card, so people actually who were watching it on TV and didn't watch the pre-show or the kickoff would know what was going on.
I literally was about to say that. It's like, which would have made a hell of a lot more fucking sense if you knew what was going on, if you watched the pre-show, which a lot of us didn't.
You know what would have been a really great way to fix that problem?
Flip the tag team championship matches.
No. If they combined the tag title and Universal title match into one match and made it a 6-man tag, where if Reigns and the Usos win, they walk out with the Universal title and
Yeah.
the tag titles. If Edge and the Mysterios win, they walk out with all the belts.
That's some Survivor Series bullshit. You gotta
Yeah.
save that for later.
Yeah, but I mean, they were doing that 20 years ago during the Invasion angle.
Yeah, but
Winner
WCW
take
died.
all.
Yeah, nah. I mean, it worked out well. I mean,
Oh, I'm just saying, it would have
and
been...
to be fair, they flicked back to it in the broadcast anyway.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
But it just would have been something different, you know. But the Mysterios started fighting off the Usos, and then Seth Rollins snuck in and attacked Edge while Edge had the crossface with the chair part on him.
Yeah.
And then Edge hits a spear on Roman Reigns, but Reigns kicks out.
Because referee finally gets in the ring by then.
They had
Yeah.
a second referee turn up.
He actually kicked out twice. Did you see that?
Yeah, he kicked out for the first 3
Because,
counters. Wasn't meant to.
because the crowd was counting and he thought the referee had made his way into the ring already, so he kicked out the first time, and then the referee got in the ring and started counting, so he had to kick out again. I don't think he was supposed to kick out the first time for dramatic effect, but I
Yeah.
don't think he realised. I mean, that's what happens when you don't wrestle in front of a crowd for a year, and the crowd start doing like random shit, and you're like, oh, what's going on? It's like I'm new again.
If anything, though, it would have given it a more realistic thing, realistic feel
He
by doing
kicked
that.
out- yeah.
And then Roman Reigns hit the spear on Edge, pinned him.
Off the
and-
distraction from Seth Rollins.
Yep,
Yep.
and pins him and wins and retains the Blue Universal Championship.
Certainly does.
Now, I gave that match a 4 out of 5 stars. It would have been higher if they had chopped 10 minutes out of the slower part at the start. Like, it would have been a 4.5.
I agree. Absolutely. 100%. Gave it 4 out of 5. Great. Good match. Good physical match, but did not need to go for a fucking hour.
Yeah, I'd definitely agree with both of you there. It went way too long. You need to shave. Like, there was chin locks and shit like that. You don't need to do it in a match like that. That's already going on an hour.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit like a Randy Orton match where he just slaps him on a chin lock and talks to the crowd while sitting there catching his breath. I mean, sorry, Roman Reigns, you should be a lot fitter if you have to put someone in a chin lock to catch your breath. Or maybe it was Edge that needed to catch his
I
breath.
think it might have been Edge.
Yeah,
but yeah.
because he
it's
did
just-
look a little bit gassed, but the man is pushing 50.
He's pushing 50 and he's like, hasn't wrestled proper full in 9 years. So.
Yeah.
Like I said, he actually did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he did
Yeah.
great. And it'll take nothing away from Edge either. But yeah, if you wanted a match, you could have chopped the first 10 minutes out. You could have had the chin lock as the rest hold. That match would have been fine. Say, if you watch that match from when the barricade exploded to the end, like, that match would have been fine.
Yeah.
That match would have been probably rated higher. I would have given it 4.5.
And you had
You know.
STFs and guillotines there
Yeah,
as well, which could have been your rest
Y-
holds
Your
there.
rest hold could have been the STF and the pole in the mouth. Like, you had plenty of opportunities. Yeah, that first 10 minutes of just slow pacing was
Which-
befuddling. I mean, yeah.
It was making me yawn.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
when we flicked the timer up and there was still, I think there was 50 minutes to go when the match started.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this match so long?
Yeah.
And then the first 10 minutes is so slow, I'm like, holy fuck, we've got another half an hour of this.
And according to Cole, apparently an STF is a crossface.
Yeah. Yeah, good job, Cole. So then after the match, Roman Reigns is in the ring trying to get the crowd to acknowledge him.
Seth and Edge
Seth
end
and
up
Edge have brawled their
fighting,
way out of
brawl
the
away
ring, so-
They're fighting their way away.
So that sets up one SummerSlam match.
And then John Cena's music hits and he makes his long return to WWE and confronts Roman Reigns. So clearly that's going to be the match at SummerSlam is John Cena versus Roman Reigns for the Blue Universal title.
That's your main event, yep.
to an absolutely massive pop.
It was
huge pop.
not only was it a massive pop, but no one was singing John Cena Sucks along with his theme song. It was like the crowd actually genuinely appreciated John Cena being back.
That's it. You shit on him for a while, but you start to miss them, and then when they come back,
It's funny, though, about a month ago, people were shitting on him because he apologized to China.
Yeah, I remember that.
And now everyone's just like, oh my God, John Cena's back. Ah. I'm not expecting much from their match, to be honest.
I'm not even expecting him to win.
Oh, John Cena's not going to win, but I'm not expecting much from their match at SummerSlam because John Cena, very much like Hulk Hogan, and I'll get so much flack for this, and The Rock are two guys that only have 5 moves of doom.
And Stone
How
Cold.
dare you disrespect the...
Now, Stone Cold is a different thing, though.
Okay, yeah, we're talking post-back injury. Stone.
Yeah, post-back injury.
Neck injury.
Yeah, neck injury. He had to change his style because he couldn't do what he was doing before the neck injury.
Yeah.
He had to become a brawler.
They kind of have the technical wizardry of Goldberger, right? You want to talk about 4 moves of doom? There's your boy.
He had 4 moves.
No, I think he had that 2.
Jackhammer the spear.
He had,
Spirit
he,
of
had,
Jackhammer.
he had the jackhammer, the spear, and the punch the limo window out with your bare fist.
And the bleed to fucking death into the car park.
And the concuss yourself on the door.
Oh, yeah, the door headbutt.
Yeah.
There's 5 moves.
And the Goldberg slam.
Okay, there's 6 moves.
Can't leave out the Goldberg slam.
2 of them are career-ending, and one of them nearly killed The Undertaker. But here we go.
But,
Hey, he's got a mule kick too.
oh yeah.
Just ask Bret Hart.
Oh God.
Ended careers. One botch at a time. You thought Nia Jax was bad.
I'm amazed Nia Jax wasn't in the Money of Bank. Oh, that's right. It's already a dangerous enough match. You don't really
Where-
need her
yeah.
to try and kill people.
She was
Imagine her botching something off the top of the ladder. She'd
I
probably
don't
kill
want
someone.
to. I don't want to.
She was in a program with Shayna Baszler, and they lost the titles to
Natalia and Tamina.
Yeah, and Tamina. Yeah.
And then she went schizo at the hands of Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I thought Nia Jax would have been in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but clearly I was wrong.
Good. There's no place for Nia in a match like that where you got a lot of flippy dippy and stuff. Unless she's just going to be a target for people to jump on, like the Big Show was in the men's one a
Oh,
while back.
fucking, that's what Tamina was doing the whole match. She's
Yeah.
getting beat up. And Natalia, she did fuck all. She was there.
She was
was
like
the-
a goalkeeper.
That was the ultimate fucking participation medal performance from her.
Yeah, she's like, get off the ladder.
I'm in the match. Get off the ladder. Get off the ladder. Get off the ladder. Climb up the ladder. Don't win the match.
Pat McAfee actually commented on that too. He's like, she's been defending so much. This is
Yeah.
the first time she tried to climb up the ladder is like halfway through the match.
Yeah, it's like all you're doing is pushing people off the ladder, but you're not a hockey goalie, mate.
Defense.
Defense. She can defend. me.
Your heart.
She can defend my heart.
I'll tell Alexa Bliss you said that. Oh, here we go.
You and the 3 listeners out there.
It's nothing wrong with our 3 listeners. We appreciate our 3 listeners.
We do. We do.
Hi, Shogo.
Tell us how much we suck again. You
There's your
bastard.
one shout out, Shogo. You better enjoy it.
We've shouted him out more than we've shouted out a lot of wrestlers today.
We can
Spe-
shouted him.
Speaking of
from
referees that flop and do nothing for fucking 20 minutes. How you doing, buddy? How's Townsville?
He's going to be on the next episode.
Spoilers, guys.
Spoiler alert.
Excellent.
At least Goldberg slicing his arm open isn't as bad as a certain Nick Gage getting thrown through a fluoro tube and slicing his underarm open.
We've all been there.
Yes, I saw season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring. And yeah, Nick Gage. What a weirdo. Makes New Jack look sane.
God rest his soul.
God, yeah, I don't think New Jack's soul will ever make it to heaven.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
He's racking lines off Satan's fucking table right now. and then bleeding and then going into a death.
Yeah, is it actual cocaine or is it just that white
weed.
detergent powder?
Omo powder.
Omo's powder.
That's it.
Omos's powder. Oh god.
Right, so before we end the episode, so as we alluded to before, we're going to be doing a special episode in a few weeks because our amigo Shogo is coming to visit, but he's not going to be here for SummerSlam, and because I'm technologically inept and I can't make things work via the interwebs, except for when I upload these videos, so we're going to be watching a retro pay-per-view. These two guys and Shogo don't know what it is. It's a surprise. They're going to find out on the night.
It has a W in it, apparently.
Yes,
Apparently
the name
the
of the
company-
organization has a W in it. So that really does narrow it down.
CZW is going to be great.
TNA Wrestling's going to be great.
TNA doesn't have a W in it.
TNA Wrestling's got it at the end.
There's no Y in team.
There's a me.
But so we're going to do a retro pay-per-view review, and then the week after that we're going to have SummerSlam, but it's going to be a day late because I've got to go and play a gig in a band on the day SummerSlam is actually live, so we've got to push it back a day.
Cheap plug.
Cheap plug.
Shameless plug.
Cheap plug.
Yeah, I had
Here
to do-
comes the money.
I had to do 2 gigs this weekend, so I'm already absolutely knackered. But still, as the chopper is, as the plane is landing,
Get
oh
to the
God.
chopper.
Yeah. So that's going to be a special episode in a couple of weeks. Any final thoughts you guys want to say? Oh, we should actually rate the entire pay-per-view. I completely forgot because this is only the second episode of this type of podcast we've done, so we're still fumbling through the dark. It's
Hey, you
kind of
got-
like having sex with your clothes on. You know how to do it, but it's incredibly difficult.
At least you got the title right this time.
Yes, and the name's right too. It's always positive. Someone else can open up next time.
No
so
way.
your voice. It's good.
No way.
So what ranking out of 5 would you guys give the overall pay-per-view?
I'm going to give it a 4.5. That was a very good pay-per-view. That's probably the best one other than maybe the Rumble. Rumble is always going to be my favorite regardless. I love that pay-per-view.
Yeah, 4.5. What are you going, John?
What do I compare it to, though?
All the ones out of this year.
All the ones out of this year?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going back to, like, WrestleMania 17 because
No,
that's only like a...
You
2.
can't compare it to the best pay-per-view of all time, okay?
Exactly. All right. Well, okay. This is modern day WWE. That's a 4. Like, that was a shitload better than Backlash.
Oh, God. Hey, it's WrestleMania
Yeah.
Backlash. Get it right.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better than Hell in a Cell as well. Hell in a Cell just...
I don't even remember Hell in a Cell. That's how unmemorable it was.
It had Bianca Belair versus Bayley
Oh,
on
yeah.
it.
That describes everything I needed to remember
Yeah,
and forgot promptly about.
yeah. And Drew McIntyre versus Booby Lashley.
That
Drew.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
was the last time you could face Bobby.
So, I'd give this pay-per-view a 4 out of 5. Or if I had to give it a letter rating, I'd give it a B+.
B+ player.
B+ player.
Yeah, no, solid. Very, very solid card.
Yeah. And I'm sort of glad that they saved a lot of surprises until the crowds came back. Sure, it was a lot we had to endure over a year and a bit. But,
Yeah, that product really became fucking holding pattern.
yeah.
It's like it was stale, but I think there was a reason for it.
Mm.
Well, because Vince McMahon's out of touch.
No, because Vince was waiting for the crowds to come back. He said it himself.
And because he's out of touch.
No, he was fucking waiting for a crowd to come back.
NXT was still
You're not
pretty
gonna
good
bring
without a
you're
crowd.
not gonna bring John Cena back in the Thunderdome,
True.
like
Or Finn Balor.
or
Or Edge.
yeah. Imagine Edge returning at the Rumble, but it's like Thunderdome Rumble.
Oh,
That would have sucked.
God, that would have sucked. I mean, it'd be good, but it'd also
It would have
suck.
sucked. Like Christian had to come back to the Thunderdome Rumble.
Oh, man, don't remind me of
Edge
that.
did too, because he won this year's Rumble.
He did too.
Yeah, we didn't return it. Like Christian came back to the Thunderdome Rumble, and
At least we got a cool moment between Edge and Christian though. Before Christian left AEW.
Yeah, exactly. So you know,
Now he's facing Matt Hardy. It's just like they never left.
Except Lita's not involved.
Can we please have dilapidated boats and shit, please?
Yeah,
Just bring back Broken Matt Hardy for AEW.
he did.
Chris Jericho get nuts for that.
That's how he started back in there. He had Broken Matt Hardy.
Good.
Wonderful.
You can shit on that angle all you want, but that was the best fucking shit going for like 6 months.
He carried TNA for fucking
Like,
ages, man.
that carried TNA for like its last gasp.
Him and
Yeah.
Jeff.
You know what was really good about the TNA version? Was the piss take version that EC3 did with
That's
with
one of the best things I've
Eli
ever watched.
Drake.
One of the best things I've ever watched in my life.
But also the other piss take versions where Jeff Hardy walks in and they've got Matt Hardy playing different songs.
On the VA.
Like he's playing a piano version of John Cena's entrance music.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas the Tank Engine, all this stuff. And then he hits like the bum notes. He's like, Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. And then they just play the clip again, but with a different song. It went for like 15 minutes. It was hilarious.
Oh, that reminds me. One thing we forgot to bring up on that pay-per-view is the skit before the men's Money in the Bank, before KO went out.
Oh, yeah, where,
That was what the best like skit package of the whole entire night.
where Shinsuke, Rick Boogs, and Riddle were there. And Rick Boogs starts playing Randy Orton's entrance music.
And he's playing this because he was having a chat with
Riddle.
and Riddle's like, "Oh, can you play Randy Orton's theme?" Boogs is like, "Nah, I don't know how. I'm just messing with you. That's my favorite song." And then he starts playing Orton's theme, and Riddle's singing it, and then the camera pans.
Oh, and Shinsuke Nakamura is doing Randy Orton's pose. And then the camera goes around him, and there's Kevin Owens standing at the curtain just looking at him like, what the hell are you three doing?
This is literally just before they're about to walk out to the match.
It was so good. That was fantastic.
It was very good.
All right. So, you guys want to say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm done. It's been a long-ass day, a long-ass weekend. I'm ready for bed.
Ditto. Very good pay-per-view, and hopefully it continues this way with the crowds now.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself, JB, and Dr. Seamus, thank you for tuning in on this latest episode. And we will see you in a few weeks with our mystery retro pay-per-view. Please, if you like the video, if you like the podcast or whatever we're doing, please click like, ring the bell, subscribe, send us money.
Don't do the last one.
Yeah, you do the last one. Please do. Don't leave negative comments because I'll just delete them because I'm an asshole and I don't like that type of stuff.
He's not joking.
Yeah, I'm not joking. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you in a few weeks for the retro pay-per-view. Until then, goodbye.